start the recording. All right, so what I wanted, especially, I kind of want to go back to basics in this training. I want to just cover some basics and make sure that everybody knows some of the basics. Say that again, the basics that we're going to be building on, because you're just going to be doing pretty much the same thing over and over and over again. And so you need to have that groundwork really understood. So the first thing I want to refer to is your Smart Start workbook that came in your kit. And if you are like me, you probably got all of this stuff out, and then you were like super excited about what else was in the box, and that kind of came in. And I'm kind of embarrassed because I want to open this and just be like, yeah, mine's empty. There's nothing, I haven't done any of this. But actually that's not the case, because mine kit didn't come with this. I had to print mine out. My kit came before these came, so I have printed one somewhere, but I couldn't find them, that I had filled everything out in. But you have one of these, and I really want to encourage you, like this first page, this has all the information. So if you're needing to get in contact with somebody, get with your sponsor right away, get everybody's contact information so that you know who to talk to if you have questions, who you can go to, who's going to be there to support you. And then start going through this workbook. Especially coming back to your why. That's probably going to be evolving and changing as you're building the business. But hopefully all of you guys had some kind of an onboarding where you sat down with your sponsor and they went through, let's talk about your why. Let's talk about how much time you have. What kind of money would you like to see come in? Talk to you about doing a launch. And then also the Smart Start program and MMP. Those are your basic things that you need to know, and that's what you're training the people that are coming in under you. It's as easy as that. If you can be training, talking to people about when you're bringing them on. So right now I'm talking about building your business. So I'm not talking about VIPs, though I do want to go over VIPs, but I'm talking about bringing in other market partners. You're bringing in other market partners. You want to go through those 7 steps with them. And you can do this even before they have a kit. If somebody's talking to you and they're just, they want more information, you've asked the question, are you interested in the product or the business? Both. And you're kind of getting a feel for them. You can start the onboarding process. And so, what's your why? What are you looking for? What would you like to have? Why would you want to build a Monat business? You're kind of finding out what is that connection that they have, and then what kind of money would make a real difference. If you could have, like this month, how much would it make a difference for you? And then moving on to how much time they have. So go through those steps with them. And when you get to what I want to talk with you guys about is this first level, and this is in the onboarding. And I know that for me, when I have onboarded people, I have almost glossed over this. It's the 6th or 7th step, and it's MMP. And I want to talk about that with you today, because that is such an important piece. That's your first piece in launching, like taking your business from being a market partner and kind of figuring out the products, talking to people about it. Then when you hit MMP, you're building the business. That's, whoa, I'm building the business. You've got your first promotion check. You've got some lines under you. You've got some VIPs coming in. You're building your business. And so MMP, this is when you're talking to people, this is what you want to get excited about. You want to get people to MMP. This is, and I was watching some training today and she was talking about this and it really struck me and I went, yeah, MMP is exciting. I think MMP is the most exciting rank to hit because so let's talk about MMP, what it is and how you get there. So, have you guys seen this, the compensation plan? It's blue normally. I'm out of ink on my computer and so it's pink. But it's this, if you go to your back office under resources.
Tools, resources.
Okay, thank you. It's there, the compensation plan. And I think I have this compensation plan linked on our page too. But this is going to tell you like what you need to hit for each level that you're coming into. So MMP, so you've got your market partner. That's when you come in, you buy a kit, you've got 200 PV. Oops. Hey Amanda, I'm gonna go ahead, or can you see how to mute? I'm getting a little bit of feedback there. I can do it for you if you want. Okay.
Got it.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, so this is going to tell you how to do that. So managing market partner. This is how it works. And I want to just give you some of these. This is really that first exciting goal and promotion within the company. So the first thing that you need is 300 PV. And what PV is personal volume. This is volume that comes from either your purchases or the purchases of your VIPs. So 300 PV is 3 systems. It's 3 VIPs. PV comes from retail. So a system is $99 retail, and so you get 100 PV. So it's pretty easy there. So 300 PV is 3 VIPs or somebody buying $300 retail worth of product. So that's in your direct line. So from you and your VIPs. The next thing that you need is 2 active lines. What an active line is a market partner that's under you, and to be active, you need 200 PV. That keeps you active, able to earn bonuses. There's that continuity is it called the continuity program? What's the one that they give you? Continuity? Okay, so if you do 200 PV a month for your first 4 months, you earn free product during that time. That's kind of that keeping you active. It's that 200. That 200 means that you're an active line. So if you sign somebody up as a market partner and they buy a product pack, the basic product pack, they get 200 PV. So you've got an active line right there. So if you're signing people up, you sign 2 people up, you've got 2 active lines. If you don't sign anybody up that month, but you have signed up in the past, then you need those 2 people, or you need 2 of them to be active. So either buying product themselves or having VIPs. Is there any questions on what that means to be active? Okay, so you need 2 of those lines. Then you need 1200 GV. And what GV is group volume. It includes your PV, and it's what your market partners are doing. So when your market partner signs up and they get 200 PV, that's part of your GV. So let's say you've got 300 PV, and then you sign up 2 market partners, and they each do 200. Now you have 700 group volume. And so now there's still a difference between that 700 and you need 1200. So you need another 500, either from more VIPs, or your MPs start bringing in VIPs, or they sign up people and have groups. So it's kind of what everybody under your group is doing. And you'll be surprised when you start people start coming in, really how quickly it comes. People will just start and you'll be like, oh, like your GV is growing. You pretty much know what's happening in your PV at all times because those are your VIPs. You're kind of managing them. So sometimes a flex ship will come in or something that you're not quite sure about. But for the most part, but then your GV just starts to grow because your group starts just being awesome like you guys and are just doing stuff. So that's it. That's what you need to make MMP. If you make MMP, it's a $150 bonus right there. Chances are you have built probably a couple of blocks in order to do that, because two MPs, you've put in 2 market partners. You're going to have some VIPs in order to get that PV and the group volume. So your first check when you make MMP is going to be, I mean, it's hard to tell, but it's going to be a few $100s because with the block, you're at $370 without the bonuses that we're having right now. And so like this month, if you've got a block, you're at $420 for 1 block. 2, you're at $8 something. Then you've got the MMP bonus. There's just lots of stuff that starts happening. So making that, hey, let's get to MMP. That means I'm going to do 300 personal volume. I'm going to get 2 active lines, and I'm going to grow my group volume to 1,200. So that's where I feel like when you're wanting to grow, and then what will happen, see, so that's your goal, right? That's your first goal. Then you've got these active lines. Then it becomes about you helping them get to MMP. How can I help you build your business? And so you just it's a perpetuation. So everything you're doing in this, and I'm kind of catching a glimpse of this, is that it's so important that what you do be duplicatable. Because you're going to get to a point where your group, did you guys see the thing where I said like our group has 100 people in it? I mean, that's 100 people watching what we're doing, like, hey, and wanting to recreate that. I'm seeing like, so my upline is Sky, and her little bag, she's got Monate by Sky, right? And she's got the little picture of the Monate products on her page, her Facebook page. Do you know what my Facebook page looks like? Oh, it's got the same picture with Monate by Amy. And she writes something and I copy and paste it. Like, duplication is so important. And so you want to be doing things that other people, they're going to be able to say, I can duplicate that. I can copy, I can paste, I can say those things. That's something I can get to. So does that make sense? Okay. Do you guys have any questions about MMP or the rank advancement or any of those questions? Anything there? It's so fun seeing all these people coming on. Let's see. Okay, so the more simple you can bring it down to just the simplicity, the more duplicatable you're going to be. So on that vein, I want to talk about some things. This was brought up in something I was just watching that it was talking about. As we start to grow, being careful what we say about the product. Because what I say, this is, copying and pasting, right? So what I'm saying about the product, I know you guys are saying about the product. And then what you say about the product, all of your downline is going to start saying about the product. So you just want to make sure that you're really staying within, like, that we're just not making claims that aren't backed up, if that makes some sense. So I got these from another training, so I'm just going to pass them on to you. And some of them I haven't heard before. So we're not going to say that it whitens your teeth. I hadn't heard that, but if you hear that, that's not something we're going to share. Right? Okay. There was a thing going around that it could really help your eyelashes grow if you put it in your mascara. And so now we've got, first of all, it's going to actually take your mascara off. It's not going to last. But we have the Eye Wonder, like for eyes. If you're wanting to grow, we have a product that will do that. So don't like put it in your mascara. We want to be careful about the claims of how long this is going to last. For some people, they have had it last 6 months. But if you're promising people that their product, that a system's going to last them 6 months and they only get 2 or 3 months out of it, they're going to be upset. And so we don't want to make outlandish claims. One of the things, and again, think about what we learned from DeVerne and how we just pass it on, right? DeVerne tells us something and we're like, gospel, and we share it. This is why it's so important to like, that's, yes. So Laura, that's 130 uses per bottle. That's what DeVerne says. So that's what we've been passing on. Now, the question I have with DeVerne, and he never qualifies this, is it 130 uses or 130 washes? Amanda, did you?
He does clarify that. He says it's 130 washes. It's a 2-wash system, which means you get 65 showers. So if you get 65 showers, that is, and you shower every single day, you get 2 months. If you wash every other day, you get 4 months. That's where he says on average 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Because no one actually only uses a dime,
right?
Which is the other, which is why we need to err on the side of it's 3 to 4 months, not 4 to 6 months.
Right. And I even hesitate with the 4. I go, it's probably going to last you. This is just my words. I go, it's probably going to last you about 3 months, depending on how often you wash your hair. So people who are working out, they're washing their hair more often. They're going to go through it. And because I'm using multiple systems, I don't even know how long mine is lasting because I have like 10 bottles in the shower. Amanda?
So Carter and I, share a volume system. We've 2 months on the system. He washes every single day and says he does the 2 washes. We have just finished 2 months and it's almost empty.
Okay.
So for me, I wash every 3 days. So realistically, I think 3 months is a legitimate, it's going to last you 3 months.
And that's what I'm seeing. That's what I think we went through with a black with Jake and the boys. Did somebody else have something they were going to say? Okay. So saying, hey, 6 months, that might, it's going to make people go, whoa. Okay. Here's a big one. And Courtney actually did not say this. She said the right thing. But in her very first live, and it just stuck out to me when she said this, so then when I heard this again. So what you hear all the time about Monat is that it's naturally based. It is not all natural. It is not organic. Like those are claims. It has preservatives. So it's naturally based, but in order for it to be able to sit on a shelf and not grow mold and fungus and for it to have a stable shelf life, it has preservatives in it. And they use the best preservatives they can, but there are preservatives in it. So it is not all natural. And what I was saying about Courtney is she was like doing her live and she's like, it's naturally based. It's not all natural. Nothing's all natural these days. She said something like that. And I just thought that is so true. And that's a good way but anyway, so it's naturally based, but it is not all natural. It's not organic. And the other thing that you want to be careful also is this is great for blank ailment, like specifically saying it's going to cure alopecia. I mean, I'm even really like, I share these pictures of Jake and I'm like, I have no idea. Is this going to turn into real hair? Is this going somewhere? All I can see is what I can see right now. I don't know what's going to happen with it. So you just want to make sure that the claims that you're making are like based either in your own experience, like it makes my hair super soft. You have before and afters. You can share other people's before and afters, and you can share their testimonies, but be careful about making claims across the board. This is going to cure baldness. This is going to cure alopecia. This is going to cure. And it's funny because I even have the same trouble when I say Rejuvabeads, 100%. Anytime somebody says 100% of anything, I go. So the fact that Rejuvabeads says 100%, I still go. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Amanda, were you going to say something?
Well, another one I've heard is the thyroid. This will solve your thyroid hair loss issues. And it's a tool, just like anything else. It's just a tool that you can use to maybe help slow the loss and reboost and start new growth. But everyone's different.
Right. And so you want to be excited about it. I believe, seriously, it's going to change. It's going to rock your world. It's going to make you have amazing hair. It's happened to me. It's happened to you guys. I've seen this. Like, let's be excited about what it can do, but let's keep it within the scopes of this is what we know it can do. And you have a problem with this? Sure, you try it, and you've got a 30-day money-back guarantee. And so, and here's some things, I can find you some things where other people said this, but does that make sense? We just want to make sure that what we're sharing is within the scope of what a shampoo really can cure. Okay. So let's talk about a couple other things that you can influence and things that you can't influence, like things you have control over and things you don't have control over. So here's what you have control over. You have control over your own personal activity. You, like, what you're doing, what you're sharing, how often you're working your business. When you were onboarded, you said, hey, I've got a couple hours I can work a day, or I've got whatever, a couple hours a week. Like, you have control over what you're putting into your business. You have control over what you're doing for your team. Reaching out, contacting your team. You have control. You have control over you. What you don't have control over is what your downline is doing. Like, you can't push a rope. So if you have people that, like, I really thought this, like, you love them, you build relationships, you help them the best that you can, but you also just can't control what they're doing. You can't control their willingness. You can't control their goals. You can help them set goals. You can help them create a plan. And I hope that's part of your personal activity, is that you're helping your downline. But you can't control then what they do with that. And you can't control potential VIPs or MPs. And I shared a little bit of this, I think, on the page where Sky was saying, so she started doing this in February, sending out stuff. And I mentioned, like, it took me till June. I started seeing it in February. It took me till June to be like, and a sale before I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do it. So you're planting seeds, you're sharing, you're building relationships, and you don't know when those are going to come back and be like, hey, and people that you think are not going to, they show up. And we were just talking about this, what will start happening as you continue to share, as you continue to do your level of personal activity, people are going to just start contacting you. They will. And they're going to start saying, hey, I don't need this, but my mom needs it. My cousin needs it. My aunt needs it. Can you send them a sample? Like, you guys are putting in not even baby steps. You're putting in huge steps right now. You're making goals and you're being consistent, and those are going to pay off. I'm seeing it as I'm watching your guys' lines. Stuff that you did 2 months ago is coming back. It's like, Nada, did you have something?
Well, when we're doing sales in our other businesses, we just refer to that as you're packing the pipe. Your sales pipe is however long, and you have to push it in and push it in and push it in and push it in on one side till eventually it starts falling out the other side. It doesn't come out the first time. And that's what we're doing. We're all in our first few months of this, and it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a few weeks, and it doesn't happen in a couple months. Building a business, no matter what the business is, we have built multiple successful businesses. None of them happened overnight. It's just lots and lots of work, and you're just packing it in one side, and it's going to trickle out the other side, and then it's going to start flowing out the other side.
Yes, exactly. And so, do you remember last time we went over like the 5 things that you should do, and like 5 things every day? And one of those things was like take 5 days off a month, like just where you just take off. And that is important to help you get perspective, because when you're trying so hard and you're doing you're watching the YouTube videos, you're doing training, you're in your back office, you're sending out samples, you're sending out messages, and you're not seeing that, like just stepping back, having just I am having a no monate day. That is okay. Like have a no monate day and just get some perspective, and then go back to it, and it's going to start coming. But if you are consistent, and you just keep sharing, I can't tell you how many times. So I must have just said, "Hey Siri," because she's talking to me. How many times recently? So I'm sharing every few days something about Monate somewhere, and then people, if somebody asks me about them, I put them in my group. But usually the conversation, somebody reaches out to me and says, "Okay, tell me about this magic hair stuff you're talking about." Like they've just been hearing me and they've been watching, and it's just been kind of going. And then finally they're like, "All right, give me some information. I'm ready for some information." So just, you don't know who's watching and who's just like, "Hey, is this going to turn into anything?" So just keep being consistent. Any questions? Anything? Okay, I'm going to keep going. So the next thing I want to talk about is VIPs, and like kind of working with your VIPs. Your VIPs are like your best resource. Your VIPs are the ones who are going to turn into MPs, and they're going to be awesome MPs because they've been using the product and they love it and they're ready to do something with. Your VIPs are the ones who don't want to build a business, but they're the ones who are sharing it with their friends. They're like, "Oh, I love my hair and you've got to see this." Like your VIPs, they are so important. So I want to talk about how, like, taking care of your VIPs. So the first thing is, so this is about customer service. This is about treating them like your customer, like they are your customer. And so for me, if my customer has a problem, if my VIP has a problem, I do all the calls to corporate for them. They will let you get their RMA numbers for returns. They will let you, I promise you, at least half and maybe 3/4 of my VIPs have lost their login information. And so the office will let you call and say, "Hey, I've got a VIP. Here's her name. She needs her login information. Can you email it?" Because the thing on the page that says, "I've lost my password, send it to me," does not work. So you have to call. But then they just send them an email. And then I will say to my VIP, "Hey, if you want me to take care of this, forward that email to me and I will take care of like changing your flex ship, adding an order, doing any of those kind of things. I'll just take care of that for them." So the home office, they'll let you get the RMA number. They'll let you send, like you can send them the login information. And then if they want to share that with you, you can help them through the order process. So that just removes, because some of that. So my first VIP, I didn't even know how to fill out a VIP order. Like, I was like, I don't even know, why are there 2 columns? What is auto ship? I was clueless. So this is what I share. And I can give you this verbiage too on the page if someone will remind me that I was going to do this. But if somebody says, hey, I'm really interested. Okay, and this is the other thing. I have decided I'm not really sharing my web page. Now that's just my own personal choice, but it's because one of the things that's happening, I've had several people who have gone and signed up with systems that I don't think are the systems that are going to work best with them. And thankfully I've been able to catch them and get them changed to a system that I think is going to work best. But a lot of people will say, I don't want to bug you. I'm just going to go do the order. I want to just do this, but I also want to help them. And so I'll say, hey, when you're ready, let me know. I'll help you figure out exactly what you need and help you walk you through the signing up process. So then what I do is I will write out and I'll say, all right, this is how you sign up. Here is the link. I send them the VIP link. I'll say in the first column says today's order. That's where you're going to choose what you want for your first order. So select that. The next column says auto ship. That's where you're going to select what you want in the next order. Now, you're just going to select something now, but you can change that at any time. You can log in, you can change what you get, you can change when you get it. But I do recommend that most people get the Rejuvenique oil as their second order. So what I recommend, this is what I'm saying to them. Oh, shoot. This is Josh from Nepal. Hold on. Jay, can you get that? Actually, I already answered it. Hi.
Hey.
It's Josh in Nepal. Hi, Josh. All right, hold on. Jake, I've got it on here. What?
Can I call you back later?
Well, I don't know. Can you call me back later? Here, talk to Dad. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
No, Ken, what? Hmm? What?
What do you say?
I don't know.
What's up?
Okay. I think he just said, can we go river rafting? But I don't think that's really what he said. I know, Courtney, I know we're recording. I'm going to throw this in there. We ordered him a new lens because our 50 millimeter we took to Escalante and it got full of sand. And so then we needed a new lens. So I ordered a 50 millimeter, but Amazon, because of the hurricane, has not been able to deliver to us for over 3 weeks. So I couldn't get a lens here. So we sent it to somebody else who was meeting him at the airport, a 50 millimeter lens. He got to the airport, he got it, they left, he tried it, and that lens is broke. So the lens on his camera is broken. So he's supposed to be looking for a camera store in Kathmandu to find a lens. Okay. Can somebody remind me what I was talking about before that happened?
Not sharing your website.
Oh, okay. So
You can help them order.
Yeah, so I can help them order. And the other thing, and Jenna, you mentioned this in this last thing, was people go, and I actually did this. When Sky first said Monat, I went to Amazon and put in Monat and was like, how much is this stuff? I'm like, dang, I'm not buying that shampoo. It totally turns you off because you see the price and you have all these things. So being able to talk to them and explain that there's different ways to buy it, there's discounts, we can get you free product. That's just really helpful. So I will say, okay, first column is what you're going to order today. Second column is this, and I recommend you get the Rejuvenique oil. And I did see this in this training, 600 drops per bottle. So I've seen that in multiple areas. So I feel confident sharing that it does have 600 drops in it. And that they can push that out however they want, but that's what I recommend, that they put that on their next flex ship. And then I'll say, just go through, then you can just follow it from there. So I'm explaining how to navigate the website. And I'm going to add, because I had this problem last night, somebody was struggling, that each flex ship has to be $84. it won't let you go through to the second page, and it's not really clear if you don't understand what it's saying. So each column needs to have a total of $84. So if you can give them that information up front, it's going to make their signing up just a little bit smoother. Okay, so VIPs. Okay, then with your VIPs, so now you have helped them figure out which product to get. You have helped them get signed up. You've explained to them about the flex ship. Then keep an eye on their flex ship. In your back office, you can go to under reports. It says, I don't know what it says because I'm not there, but it says auto ship report. So under reports, there's an auto ship reports. Yep. Thank you, Laura. I check that almost daily because when I was first starting, I didn't even think about it. My poor VIPs were getting random stuff. And some people have they maybe placed a $300 order. That shows up as their next default order for the next time. So I just caught a gal, I'm like, hey, your flex ship's coming in a week on this date, and it's like $350. So if you want to change that, if you can't change it, let me know. I will help you. And she was like, oh, okay, I will do that. Laura's like, do I have a flex ship?
Can I break in?
Yeah, hold on, guys, just a second.
So
What's wrong, Laura? Wait, unmute.
Yeah, I just looked at mine and it's set to today, I think.
I don't think so.
Maybe it's just because I'm
Up
looking
there.
at the report today. That's probably why, right? Next auto ship date says September 14th.
Amy, you and I were both up there today. Was Laura set for today?
I sent you a text with yours. I don't think Laura was.
And you didn't know, and I checked last night.
Why does it say next auto ship date? Maybe I'm just doing something wrong on the. I didn't even think to look at it though.
We'll look at that and make
Okay.
sure that it's. But that's so it's exactly that kind of thing because you go, oh, wait,
I got $42, so be really careful.
right,
Okay.
yeah, exactly. So that's exactly. So you've got people who are coming and they're just thinking about life. They're not thinking about this shampoo that's showing up on their doorstep until it shows up and they go, what? So if you can avoid that for them and be like, hey, just sending you a text. If you need some suggestions or if you want to bump that back, they're just going to feel safe in your hands. They're going to know that you are out there. You're not just trying to auto ship them through to boost your sales, that you have their best interest. If they're not ready to spend $100 on more shampoo, then let's not have them spend $100 on shampoo. We want this to be a really good experience. So those are my suggestions. And then one other thing that I'm doing with mine is that when they become a VIP, I'm just sending them a quick thank you note in the mail that just says, hey, I'm glad that you're trying Monade. I'm excited that I can be a part of it. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be in contact and, let me know when your system comes. Make sure that they have a copy of the what to expect the first 90 days. I need to delegate a task to somebody. I've given all these tips and I want somebody to put it on like a meme or something that says, for your VIP, do A, B, C, and D. But, just let them know that the 90-day, that is a perfect idea, Courtney. So she's saying the thank you note and put an oil in it. If they didn't get the oil with their order, if you can give them a packet of the oil for them to do an oil treatment with their first wash using the system, DeVern says that cuts his detox down to 0, because it does such a good job cleaning the scalp and the hair. Now, again, I have no idea. I haven't tested that myself, but I think that would be a really great idea. So take care of your your VIPs. If you guys have good suggestions, things you're doing, let's make our, okay, so it says, what is Monate by Amy Earl MP something is what our name is. We are going to change that because this isn't just Amy Earl's MPs. You guys are Amanda's MPs, Courtney's MPs, Becky's MP, like we're all a bunch of downlines. So we're going to be Team Star. We're going to change that. And I'm going to change that tonight. And so we become more of like a group, that it's not just kind of like Team Gold is for a couple levels up. And so if you've got stuff that you're doing, share it. Like, it's a great place to give that information. Okay. And there's been some really good things lately. Courtney, Amanda posted some stuff about, giving packets out to people, like spa day, people like how to give out samples to people and make it feel natural, not like, hey, buy my shampoo, but more like, hey, we appreciate you, have this product to pamper yourself. Okay, so that was what I wanted to make sure that I covered. Amanda.
One more thing on VIPs is how they have their people, like if they have a friend order.
Oh, yeah.
To help them do that, because we ran into that last night and I didn't have a clue what I was doing.
Okay, so the 3 and Thank You program. So share this with your VIPs. Hey, and so they sign up, they love the product, they want to start trying it. A great way to reach out to them, like, and this, I need to do this. This is actually brilliant. Thank you, Amanda, for sharing this. Send them a message. They've gotten their product, they're doing it. Say, hey, I don't know if we talked about the 3 and Thank You program. How that works is that if you share with your friends and if they sign up as VIPs and you all order in the same month, you get an $84 credit, which is going to pay for a system for you. And so I just want to let you know, and you can even say, if you know people who want samples, let me know and I could send them a sample for you so that they can try it. That's what I would say. And then that's going to help them. So they're doing something because they'll get that $84 credit. Their VIPs count as your VIPs. And then, but how they do that is they are given a market partner ID. Okay, I will post it. Well, somebody remind me. I promise all kinds of stuff and then I don't. So just be like, Amy, you said A, B, C, and D. But I will, because I'm actually going to do that. That's a really good idea. A way to reach out to your VIPs that are just kind of buying and doing their thing, and you can invite them to be a part of that. So, but how they do it is they can go to your website or they can just go to monateglobal.com to become a VIP. The page looks the same. They do the first column, the second column, the next page. The first one says sponsor ID. Where it says sponsor ID, that's where you put the VIP's ID, not yours. So if you put the VIP's ID up there, then they become, that person gets the credit for the 3 and Thank You. Does that make sense? If you don't know your VIP, the VIP might not know their number. Probably they don't. But you can find it in your back office under, if you go to linear view, so reports, and then there's like a linear view, you can see your whole downline. There's a green plus. If you click on that, your downline will appear and all of your VIPs and MPs, and it'll have their market partner number there. So even though they're not market partners, technically they still get a market partner number. So you sign them up with that number.
I have a question about 3 and free.
Okay.
So they get 3 people to order, and then they get the $84 credit next month. Does that cover their flex ship, or is that in addition to a flex ship order or not order?
So how I understand it, and I actually haven't had anybody do this yet, but my understanding is that they get an $84 credit to their account. And so at the end of the month, those 3 have gone in, theirs went in, they all ordered, and on the next month, they're going to have an $84 credit that they can use whenever they want to.
They
So
actually have to contact their MP or customer service to use that credit. It does not automatically show up on their account.
okay. So they have to
Signs-
claim it.
So like if you keep an eye on that and you see someone has signed up 3 VIPs in the month, so this is where keeping an eye on what's happening on your in your back office is important, because you earn it. Yes, it is a calendar month, per calendar month, Courtney.
Yeah.
And it has to be the same. This is where it gets complicated, because the VIP and their 3 VIPs have to all order in the same calendar month.
I don't feel like that's complicated though. That's just like, that's where it's, you have to order in the same month. It's maybe not as easy, like, hey, as long as, but they say in the same month.
So if they get together with their friends and they say, we're all going to order in September and then we're going to order again in December, that initial VIP gets it every single time. So no matter how many people they sign up, they could get credit after credit after credit, because they just keep signing people up.
So Mandy, or Amy.
Yeah.
So would this be like something like if somebody did a wash and wow for you and you were like, hey, if you guys do this wash and wow and you guys all are VIPs, then the one that hosted it gets the $84 credit?
Yep. That would be awesome.
I mean, would that be a way to do it?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep.
Your end as the MP, there's a little, not more work, I don't want to say, that's not the right word, but it doesn't show up the same way. They show up in your chart, in your back office flow, the same way as if someone in your MP group signed someone up. So you don't get a notice that they bought something. You don't, like you do when a VIP signs up under you. So you kind of have to go looking for it. Just like you're watching to see what's going on in your MP groups, you have to watch and see what's going on in your VIP groups as well.
And it will count towards your PV. So here's what happens. If your PV jumps 100 and you go, where'd that just come from? Go looking for it, and it's going to be back there on a chart. If you can't find it, let me know, because I can see some of your stuff. Like I can see where, like, so where I said under linear view, if you click the green plus, that drops down your stuff. And then if you have an MP who has people signed up, you click on their name, that they have a green button next to them, and it will drop down. So it's just drop down menus under each person. So did that help answer your question, Tracy? Awesome. All right. What other questions do you guys have? How are you doing recommending product? How are you doing events? That's another thing we could talk about. I keep seeing this again and again. Okay, let's talk about how you can, if you've said, all right, I have 3 hours to dedicate to this business every day. And where are you going to spend that? Like maybe you don't have like a downline that you're really working yet. So where can you spend that time? There are some people that you can be going and watching videos that they have done that are going to help you. So DeVern, if you don't know DeVern, talk to somebody, like talk to your sponsor about DeVern. He is the product guy. He's the one who knows what to recommend. He's written a book on the ingredients. He's going to help with hair problems. He's a stylist. So he's going to help you figure out what to use. And you can go into his group, Meet Monate with DeVern, and Google. Like I'll go in there, and if somebody's asking me about something, I can like search that group and it comes up with a ton of information. All right. The second thing is Julie Stevens. I'm going to give you just some names of some people that if you are not following them, find them. Sorry. Lisa, I think you're unmuted. Something, I'm hearing somebody. Becky, somebody's unmuted. Okay, so Julie Stevens, and it's Jewely, Stevens with a PH. So she's a senior executive director. She's been in from the very beginning. She was like market partner number 2, but she is awesome. She has a group that is amazing. She has a YouTube channel. So when I've got some time, I'm watching her YouTube videos. I fall asleep to them. She just gives training. She does meet Monates. She's just has tons of information. So watch her. You've got to be careful when you're watching the dates because like today she was giving some training that she gave in January, and some of the information was a little bit outdated because they made a big change in June. So if you're hearing something, you're like, I haven't heard about that. It could be that was something they did before and they're not doing now. So Julie Stevens, Brittany Pillars, Sarah Reed, they'll all be friends with you on Facebook. And they do lives all the time, and they're always talking about Monate. And Amy Sloan, she's in a different line. Those 3 that I just talked about are in the same line. Amy Sloan's in a different line. Those 4 girls are awesome, and they're just like killing this business. And so like just associate with them, meaning watch what they're doing. So I would encourage you, and we'll share those. I've seen all of you guys have like popped over. You've shared them into the group like, hey, watch this, hey, watch that. And I love that. That's just gives you stuff to, when you're waiting for at the car wash to pop on and do. Okay. Other questions?
You were going to talk about events.
Events. Okay. Sorry. So that was one of the things in these trainings that I keep hearing. So events, that's one of the 7 things that like you need to be doing. And Julie was talking about this over and over again today. And she's like, all right, events, you need to have something on the calendar. So events, your launch, that was like, hey, I'm doing this. If you haven't done an official launch, do an official launch. We can still do that even if you've been like working it, like, hey, I'm going to have a launch. That's where you're letting people know what you're doing. The wine and washes or a meet Monate where you invite people over and you talk to them. Or, I mean, an event can be as easy as just sitting down and talking to someone about Monate, either in person, going out for lunch or a drink or something, and then, or having, doing it online where you're just sharing and you're doing the Dare to Succeed. It is as simple, like when you're talking to somebody about the business, going through who, you're just reading this. Who, why, you pick your products, and then you talk about like the VIP and the MP. This is so basic. So you're sharing that. And this is something before the hurricane, man, our little Texas group was on fire. We had like things lined up, we were doing them, and then we've just been like in this kind of holding pattern, and it's time to get back that momentum. And so you can do online wash and wows, just invite people and what it does. And so you're either going to somebody's or you're hosting them, but you should try and host one at least every couple of weeks so that you're having that experience. But the more you can go and watch and attend and just be a part of these, it's just going to build your momentum in the business. All right. Do you have other questions? What are you guys, are you setting goals? I want to encourage you to set goals. Like MMP, if you haven't done MMP, if you haven't hit MMP yet, make that your first goal. Like you're building blocks. The blocks are going to get you to MMP. The blocks, that's a really stable business. But as far as building a business, let's get you to MMP. If you're not sure what to do to get to MMP, message me. Message your sponsor. But if you want to message me, I'll talk to you. We can set goals, we can brainstorm, we can come up with a plan of how to get you there. And then what's going to be awesome is those people that you put in, your market partners that you put in so that you are up to MMP, you're going to be training them how to get to MMP. Would it be helpful if we did like a weekly Meet Monate where you could invite people and me, or we had somebody doing a Dare to Succeed, like in this format. Would that be helpful to you guys if we had something like that that you could invite people to? If you think it would be helpful, let me know. Because we can do that. We can just schedule those where we have and I think as our group grows, it's going to become even more, because you just are going to start having people and having something where you can say, hey, let's come to this. But there are like 2 or 3 Meet Monate groups. So you can send people to watch. Do you guys understand what I'm saying when I say Meet Monate? Okay, so so there's like a Wash and Wow and a Meet Monate. And at a Meet Monate, that is where you have somebody who is sharing their story, and then they're walking through the Dare to Succeed. So they say, who is Monate? Monate is an anti-aging, naturally based hair care company, and they give this. They had 25% growth. First year was 1 million gold, and they hit 25 million. This year they hit 300 million by August. They're going to do $1 billion next year. So you talk about who Monate is. You talk about the products, the 30-day money-back guarantee. You talk about how you can buy. So it's just giving the basics of Monate. And so sometimes when you have people coming in, it's easier to say, hey, come to Amy's Meet Monate. I want you to meet her, and she's going to talk to you about this, versus I'm going to tell it to you. Or you say, come to DeVern's Meet Monate. He's going to talk about it. Or Amy Sloan's Meet Monate. Or, so you have somebody that you can, and in all of those, the cool thing that they do in the Meet Monate groups, if you are not a part of them, talk to your sponsor and see if they can, because they should be able to add you into the groups, show you where to go. But so you have somebody who's doing this, and then they're saying, go back to the person who invited you. So they're not poaching, they're sharing, and they'll say, go find the person who invited you to do this and talk to them about this. So they're there to help you. And so, go ahead with somebody.
So who is appropriate to invite to these people, to these Meet Monates? Potential VIPs, people you've sent samples to, just general public.
People do talk to. So you say that you sent them samples and you're like, hey, would you like to learn more about Monate? I think this person, there's a meeting, there's this that's going on, and you can send that to, like, come join this and we're going to tell you more about it. Okay. So, and especially if somebody is saying, maybe I'd be interested in the business, that would be a great place to send them to.
My first goal is to get somebody VIP. That would be nice.
Yeah, let's get you somebody. Let's keep going. This is where consistency. So when you've got time, and you've got 2 littles that you're dealing with, but have some of these trainings going on in the background. Be watching Julie, be watching Sarah, listen to Amy Sloan does a great job on marketing and product. She's like the whole package. So find these people and just have these playing, because that is just going to increase your knowledge. Then the other piece is relationships. So, and I can't stress that enough. And I'll go over this again and again. This is about building relationships. This isn't about just trying to get a paycheck. You want these people to care about you. You want to care about these people, and you want them to know that you care about them. Amanda, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I actually have a story to share about that. We've been talking about this thing as we've been building our businesses, that people buy from people they have relationships with and that they trust, and they buy because of your story. I have a potential client I've been talking to for, a month. She saw me on Facebook. She asked about samples. She's in Florida. We've been chatting back and forth about her hair, back and forth, talking about the hurricane, and her husband's in the military, and she's interested in RVing, just building relationships. We've talked about the shampoo, but that has not been the basis of our conversations. I don't know this woman other than she asked me about Monate samples. Today, she's like, okay, I'm totally going to order tomorrow. We're getting paid, whatever. And I asked her if she'd be interested in the business because she wants to buy a bunch of product. Anyways, she's like, no, I'm not a salesperson. I said, I'm not a salesperson either. But then she proceeds to tell me that she tried these samples like a month ago, came out in a family discussion that her mom's cousin sells Monate. And when she found out that this girl had used the samples and was going to buy, she became very pushy. When are you going to buy? Why don't you buy it from me? You really should keep the money in the family. It became really pushy. And this girl says to me, I'm not buying from her. I'm buying from you because this hasn't been about the sale for you. This has been about me and about what I need and about what's going on with my family and not about the sale. And that's the kind of person I want to support. So it really, really is about the relationship. They'll buy eventually if it's the right product for them. But you're just building the relationship. And at some point they come back and they make the purchase. So that was just a really neat experience that happened tonight.
Thank you for sharing that. And I can't stress that enough. You guys care about the people, like love them. And like make that what this is about. It's not, it is a business. We're building business. Don't get me wrong. I'm putting time into this because I'm building a business, but I'm doing this with people that I know, that I have relationships with, that if they don't like the product, I care. And I'm going to call and wait on hold for 30 minutes because Hurricane Irma has hit everybody's evacuated. And also, I mean, we've got to so I care about them. Also, right now, you've probably noticed my sister messaged me today. She's like, oh, my stuff is really backed up with shipping. I've gotten some messages from some people who are asking, and somebody asked me, hey, what's going on with shipping? Monate was not hit. Thankfully, Irma, right? It was Irma. She avoided, their offices are good, but Florida is still in a state of emergency. Like I was saying, Harvey hit us weeks ago. Today was the first day that Amazon got me packages. It's taken weeks for Amazon to get, and I wasn't even flooded. So these areas are just having, even though the facility is doing good, there's so much just nationwide that is happening because of these major catastrophes that we just need to be patient with the people on the phone. When we're talking to home office, man, these guys, I can only imagine what they go through, because I know I have been pretty irate with them sometimes on the phone, like, what the heck? So we're just finding that place where we can just find some compassion for what's happening that's out of their control. So I will give that. All right. How can I help? Any other questions? Was this helpful?
Yes.
I hope it was helpful. Good. All right. So I'm here. Use Team STAR. Okay, STAR. Service, teamwork, action, and relationships. That's what we're doing, which is also my favorite shape in the whole wide world. And so I'm super excited about it. All right. So till next time, I'm actually gonna, how do I hit?